أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون اللهم صل وسلم على محمد وآله وفاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين الحسن والحسين إمامين السبتين والرحمة سيدي شباب أهل الجنة وعلي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والحجة بن الحسن صلوات الله عليهم أئمة اللهم إني رضيت بهم رضي الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب زدني علما اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك توا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear viewers, dear respected brothers and sisters, and especially the young generation, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I conjure Allah Almighty, for the sake of Muhammad Ali Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to haste the reappearance of our Holy Master, Baqiyatullah, the rest of Allah's proofs in the planet of earth, Al-Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, and to bestow His mercy to make all of us as His companions and His real followers and His helper. I swear to Allah Almighty to bestow His mercy, His gracious mercy, His kind mercy on all the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam in the globe, and to accept our qaleel, our little deeds in these nights for the mourning commemoration of martyrdom of Imam Hussain alayhi salam and his companions, the all martyrs of Karbala, and his family, children, and the captives of Karbala. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I swear to Allah Almighty to grant kindly all of our needs, the needs of the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam in the globe, the hajat and the needs, and bestow His mercy upon all the people who are downtrodden in the world, and to send our Master Agha Imam Zamanat Jalallah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif to help us in every aspect of our lives, inshallah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I swear to Allah Almighty to save our country, Australia, from every calamities, every afflictions. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I swear to Allah Almighty to bestow His mercy on all the people of the world, to guide, to direct them on the right path of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, the school of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, because only the school of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam is the natural path of Allah, of the people in Allah Almighty's willingness. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. If we had time, inshallah, we will discuss one night about the supplication we do for the whole people of the world, how we ask Allah Almighty to guide and direct the whole humanity in the right path of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, because we have a lot of holy verses in the Holy Quran by the commandment of Allah Almighty, and we have a lot of sunnah, the tradition of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, and especially the lady chief of the paradise heaven, Bibi Fatimatu Zahra Salamullahi alayha. Dear viewers, as you know that we have the topic about the self-discovery, and it has 7 stages: disorder, identity, emotionality, evolution, eventfulness, spirituality, and growth. Tonight, I would like to discuss about the growth. What does the growth mean? Growth in Islamic perspective, we have intellectual growth, intellectual promotion, which is very widely perceived by the Islamic injunction, by the Allah Almighty and Allah Almighty's injunction in the Islamic perspective. but according to my ability, I would like to explain some implications and element of the growth on the basis of the Western psychologist, and finally on the basis of the Islamic scholars. What does growth mean? If we assess the particulars of growth, we should first of all focus our attention on the basis of recognition of personality. So personality is the scope of human structure, is the scope of human behavior. So it's widely defined in the Islamic perspective. Personality is equivalent to the word of personality, as I said, in English, and in French it's personalite. So both of them are adopted from the word persona, which means that a person, that a people, there was in the time of ancient Greece, when the people were going to parties, they were going to put the mask on their faces, and then they go to the parties. So personality traits have a very deep definitions and meanings in common language and in common sense. But the psychology and personality perspective, it refers to the set of psychological, physical, behavioral characteristics. Psychological, physical, behavioral characteristics. So that distinguish each person from the other people. If you are interested, I would like to invite you to focus and to read the personality and to read about the growth, which is called intellectual growth. So personality is a very important point, both from the aspect of satisfying curiosity, from the point of view of social interactions. So if we would know better about ourselves, that we have the topic of self-discovery, we should study the intellectual promotions and self-discovery based on self-growth and intellectual promotions. So because why I invite everyone to focus and study the growth and the intellectual promotions, because if a person would like to know better about their children. It's very important for them to focus their attention on the basis of intellectual promotions, that it shapes the children's life, and it shapes and it develops the children's perspective and characteristics in order to get their direction for the future. It's very vital. It's also very vital for the teachers to focus in this subject, because if the teachers would like to have and to prepare a good lesson for the students and know their morality, their psychological traits, behavioral traits, characteristic traits, so they should know the intellectual promotion and the growth, because it helps them, not only them but everyone. So the implications, the component of the growth, or the finally I'm going to come to that, inshallah. The knowledge is the knowledge. The knowledge can be used for the same behavioral and moral issues. The concept of personality in the school of psychology, amongst the school of psychology, several definitions of the concept of personality have been proposed. Such as the personality is the inseparable set of physical and emotional characteristics that are recognized by a person, by a person's close friend. For example, if a person is close to me and he knows me the best, how is my interaction would be to the society, how is my interaction to be with my family, how is my interaction to be with the friends, how is my interactions is to be with the parents and my business fellows. So at the beginning of, I have mentioned that in the time of the ancient Greek, it was the persona, mean the mask which has put on the face. So personality is also, as I mentioned, that the scope of people's profile, the scope of people's, particulars. In personality understanding, we can deeply judge, we can deeply assess that what is the tendency of a person, what is the conduct of a person, what is the behavior of a person, and what is also we can find that what a person could done in the future. This is the very important topic, dear brothers and sisters. with the, it has a very deep root in the environment, because the environment of the today's people is the just like a world, the whole world become is a tiny village. So actually a kind of, it shows actually a kind of acting of a person on a stage of his or her life. So personality is a dynamic organization of its perspective. The volition and the will and the physical aspect and body shape and the vital actions of the body of the human beings. These are the another elements on the basis of personality which attract us to have attention, the characteristics and tendencies which I have already mentioned to you, that shows the similarities of differences in people's psychological behavior, so psychological and personal behavior, thoughts and feelings and actions. The meaning of personality form the Islamic perspective from the meaning of the personality forms from the viewpoint of Islamic perspective. This is one of the important element in our characteristic traits, in which the Holy Quran has a very profound and meaningful verse in the chapter of Asra, verse number 84. Allah Almighty says, قُلْ كُلُّ يَعْمَلُ عَلَى شَاكِلَتِهِ فَرَبُّكُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنْ هُوَ أَهْدَى سَبِيلًا. O my messenger, if the beginning of the verse start from Qul, it's an address of Allah Almighty to the last Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. But in the wide scope, it's a address and the mentioning and the pointing out to every human beings. Allah Almighty says, the translation of the verse, Allah Almighty says, say that anyone acts according to their mental and psychological structure, and your God knows best the one whose path is more guided. This is the meaning of this is the translation of the holy words of the number 84, Surah Asra, chapter Asra. The result of these words is that the human actions form his or her recognition. the human actions forms his or her recognition. Whatever we do act, it's our recognition. In this case, we have related commandments from Ali alayhi salam, and Ali alayhi salam says, if you want to judge a person, that what is his thought, what is his feeling, how is his or her characteristics and behavior, you can judge from his or her conversation. When they do start their conversation on a long time, or especially in a meeting, in a detailed meeting, then you can judge that what's his mental, tendency. So now, if we want to provide a precise and somewhat free definitions of the self-discovery, we can be satisfied with this definition, I think, because this definition has very rooted meaning with our daily life, not our daily life, also with our past and the future, which make shape our structure and the body of human psychological and the personal units, which is formed from intention, heredity, environmental, free will. In such a way that it interprets environmental stimuli according to itself, it gives us a very specific response, and there are 5 components according to the Islamic perspective in Allah Almighty's injunction, which I have already recited to you in the Holy Quran, a verse of Holy Quran. So Holy Quran's criteria of the personality growth, based on a personality growth. The first of them, it has 5 components according to the Islamic theological basis. The first one is intention, the second one is mood, the third one is need, and the fourth one is religion, and the fifth one is word way. These things, these components are the basis of human beings' personality and tendencies in the holistic scope. So, what is the intention? Intention is the heart of action according to the Islamic injunctions. So, it's a set of practices which a person or which a person is bound to practice the daily mandatory prayers which Allah Almighty has ordered to His servant. First of all, it's the meaning of intention, and the other meaning of intention, whatever you do, whatever you want to do in the daily life, first of all you are going to intend that, then you produce it as an objective, then you start doing, then you start perform and act upon. According to the saying of commander of the faithful, Ali alayhi salam, the first Shiite Imam, he peace be upon him, says that the intention is the intention is the Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says that the intention is the fruit. The intention is the basis of action. Sorry. The intention is the basis of action, and the action is the fruit of intention. Whatever you do, intend, then the result of this will be the fruit of your intention. This is the holy commandment of our Imam, the first Imam, Imam Ali alayhi salam, the successor and the executor of Rasulullah, peace be upon him. And Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he says that, he peace be upon him, says the intention is the same as the action. If you perform it, it comes on the validity of your intention. This is the farman, and this is the saying of the sixth Imam, Imam Jafar as-Sadiq alayhi salam, the president of the school of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. So, what is the definition of mood? It's a set of human traits that appears in their relationship with the objects and the people. And the Islamic scholars consider it to be the result of temperament, physical composition, environmental aspect and issues, individual experiences, and of course free will. This is according to the definition of Islamic scholars. The third one is the need. What is the meaning of the needs? Needs are the fundamental foundation and the basic foundation of human beings' requirement. There are four elements, there are four components. So needs mean, its definitions are psychological needs, hunger needs, thirst needs, and the sexual desire needs. The way we satisfy and deal with them is learned and depends is learned and depends on the type of our personality, which shape our personality. So this is the very, deep-rooted definition that Imam Hussain alayhi salam, he was on the Karbala, the thirst which was really severely affected all of them, and they had never have a water to drink from several days, but he was not compromised. This is one example. It's although the Tehreek of Karbala, the movement of Karbala, has a very profound and holistic definitions for every topic of point, for every point of the movement of the Karbala. We give a speech, so it cannot be surrounded. But I have just mentioned a very slight and less value point to you. Number four is about the definition of religion. The way it's very important. It's very important factor of the component of the growth. So religion is a method of program in which a person practices in his or her life and interprets the intention in his characteristics for him or herself, his intention for him or herself from the past to the future. Religion also based religion is also formed on the basis of human basic, physical and personal structure, the nature and causes of emergence, appearance. It's also the meaning in the social, personal, psychological structure. It's also the meaning of the religion, which invite us in another person always to do certain things, certain actions. What is the meaning of the board way? Board way or boat is the construction of the meaning, of the main meaning of this. This is the definition of personality which we are in a boat. So we have to do a lot of things in our life. Doesn't matter whether it's negative or positive. So it's the meaning of boat in which the ship contains 400 or the airplane contains or 400 passengers. So it's the meaning of boardway. So the human, it's also shaped the psychological structure in a personal structure of the human beings, in their mentality, in all the holistic scope of everyone. It has a very deep root with the temperament, which the temperament is our traits in our characteristics, which we perform on these basis on our daily life. So the result of definition of religion is accepted based on it, which is the conclusion of this is the wisdom, knowledge, and self-discovery and other definitions I have addressed to you. In other words, in the holy chapter of Hadith, verse number 3, Allah Almighty says, هو الأول والآخر والظاهر والباطن وهو بكل شيء عليم. He is the first and the last. He subhanahu wa ta'ala is the first and the last, the manifest and the hidden is He, the subhanahu wa ta'ala, in His existence, and He has the knowledge of all the things. صدق الله العلي العظيم وصدق مولانا رسوله النبي الكريم. Dear brothers and sisters, tonight I have brought to you the Rawza of Ali Akbar alayhi salam. Ali Akbar alayhi salam, he is the very honorable and prominent member of the Ahlul Bayt. He is the elder son of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. When on the 10th day of Muharram, the Ashura, everyone has got martyred, and finally Ali Akbar alayhi salam saw that there is no one left except his father Imam Hussain alayhi salam, the chieftain of Karbala's martyrs, and the Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, the fourth Imam. He come to his father and asked him for permission. There was an irrepressible event and scene happened. So while he, peace be upon him, came to Imam Hussain alayhi salam, so there was all the holy ladies of the tent and the children come together and made ring around Ali Akbar alayhi salam. And everyone was saying something to him. Dear brothers and sisters, put yourself on the shoes of Imam Hussain alayhi salam and Ali Akbar's mother. How it was afflicted moment. Ali Akbar alayhi salam and Ruqayya salamullahi alayha was saying, oh dear brother Ali Akbar, see to the face of your sister, it's more delicate than the flowers. Oh dear brother Ali Akbar, you are going to the battlefield. Who would take care of the women and the desperate women and myself, oh Ali Akbar brother? Ali Akbar alayhi salam finally got permission and went to the battlefield. When he went there and he fought very courageously. Dear brothers and sisters, there was a time when Ali Akbar alayhi salam returned back to the tent and he asked his father Imam Hussain alayhi salam, the chieftain of the martyrs, that, oh dear father, the thirst has killed me. Oh dear father, the armor has killed me. The heaviness of the armor has killed me, oh dear father. Imam is there, he asked, oh dear father, is there any sip of water exist in the tent? He asked, oh dear father, is it possible to give me some water? And one narration says, Imam Hussain alayhi salam has said to him that, oh my dear son, put your tongue to in my mouth. While Ali Akbar alayhi salam put his tongue to his father's mouth, he noticed that his father's mouth is more dry than his tongue. Then Imam Hussain alayhi salam said to Ali Akbar alayhi salam, oh my son, oh my dear son Ali Akbar, continue your way. You will see in water with your grandfather Rasulullah. Ali Akbar alayhi salam went to the battlefield. While he reached to the battlefield, then the soldier of enemy, they said to each other that we have no capacity to fight with Ali Akbar. We have to come together, all of us, to hit Ali Akbar in the same time. Ali Akbar alayhi salam was surrounded by them, and they hit Ali Akbar. They shoot arrows, and then the lance upon Ali Akbar alayhi salam. Ali Akbar alayhi salam finally fainted. When Ali Akbar alayhi salam was going to faint, he put his hand on the neck of his horse. Unfortunately, despite the horse returned back to the tent, and the horse went in an opposite route in the core of the enemy soldiers. And the enemy soldiers, what they had in their hand, all of them come together and hit Ali Akbar alayhi salam. They did Ali Akbar, peace, oh brother and sister. And Imam Hussain alayhi salam is finally said, Labbaik, oh Baba, Labbaik, oh dear Baba, Daddy. Labbaik, oh dear Daddy, Labbaik, oh dear Daddy, help me, oh dear Daddy. Imam Hussain alayhi salam had reached to him And he brought Ali Akbar to the tent while he was coming in the battlefield. He raised up his hand and he was saying, "O Allah Almighty, O Allah Almighty, you know your witness that while we were thirsty to see your Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, we were looking at the face of Ali Akbar. O Allah Almighty, you know that Ali Akbar is very similar to Rasulullah, to my grandfather when we were going to see Rasulullah. And we were looking at Ali Akbar alayhi salam. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. Please, dear brothers and sisters, raise up your hand in the court of Allah Almighty for the sake of Allah Almighty, for the sake of Ali Akbar alayhi salam, direct and have mercy on the whole young generation of the followers of Ahlul Bayt and direct them on the right path. O Allah Almighty, for the sake of Ali Akbar alayhi salam, graciously bestow all of our needs, all of our hajat, and the needs of the whole followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam in the world. O Allah Almighty, for the sake of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, peace be upon them all, has the reappearance of our master Imam Zaman Jalallah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, and make us the companion of our Imam Zaman Jalallah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. O Allah Almighty, for the sake of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, whomsoever asked for the supplication, Allah Almighty, for the sake of Ali Akbar alayhi salam, grant their needs and bestow your mercy upon them and all of us. O Allah Almighty, for the sake of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, peace be upon him, upon them, help us to serve the religion of Islam. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.